All right, guys, 41st Acre back at you. We got Brett, Justin, Ben. We were talking Texas OU, officially back to Red River rivalry. For a while there, they were just calling it Red River, but the All-State Red River rivalry. Say that five times fast. Coming back to you this Saturday, 2:30 on ABC or ESPN Plus. I'll throw that in there. But we got Texas currently number one in the nation after some SEC losses last week. OU is number 18. Current spread, Texas is favored by 14 and a half, over under 50 and a half. No more Gus Johnson. So this little move to the SEC, no more big noon kickoff for Fox. I think we have Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit lined up for this one. Last I checked, that could be wrong, but I think that's who's calling it. So um, let's just get right into it, guys. Initial thoughts, Brett.
Well, my initial thoughts on this is nothing really matters going into this game as far as past performance for either team historically. Feels like we're always going to get OU's best shot.
Hmm.
Um, Usually when I would see Texas with a being a 14 and a half point favorite in a game like this, I would have a little bit of confidence that we're going to go and take care of business, but that almost does the opposite for me in a game like this. I'm just hoping that it doesn't get our team confident that they can take care of business and they still play with a chip on their shoulder. The Red River rivalry is my favorite game. I will be there in the stands, excited that it's starting at 2:30 because I don't have to get up as early to drive all the way up to Dallas, which is good. But yeah, I'm really excited about the game. I'm hoping the team plays like they should to the caliber that they're capable of. Because if they do, we dominate again. It looks like year two Sark versus OU, which I think we won 49-0 that year.
Should have been
I think we're
52.
that much better. But again, I never trust this. I never trust the predictions. I never trust the analytics. This game to me is all about emotion.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's a great call because I mean, obviously it's such a unique environment. You got 50 yard line, half the crew is OU fans, half the crew is Texas fans. So every play, one side or the other is yelling. And I feel like it's hilarious because when it's like a 4 yard gain, but it's like maybe a big hit, both sides just cheer. It's just such a weird thing. Um, Love this weekend for sure for the state fair and all that, but the Texas OU weekend, and I'll be up there obviously with you, Brett, is such a phenomenal game. I've been to I think like 10 of them or 9 of them at this point, and even in the losses, like they're still fun to go to. It's just such a great weekend. So I wish it was a little cooler. Just it just get that fall Christmas going, but it'll be fine. Looking forward to seeing both sides just ball out and hopefully watch a bunch of OU fans cry on the way out.
Yeah, there's a cold front coming in, but not until early next week. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's still going to be in the high 60s Saturday morning, then it'll heat up to mid 90s. So, but be nice and toasty by the time you guys
Yeah.
are in.
I wanted to actually touch on the spread you were talking about, Brett, because I know we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording. Um, when the number has been this big in this game, I don't remember the exact numbers, but since like 2000, I think it's been this big 7 times. And the underdog covers, I think they covered 5 times and won outright 3 times. I think that's what it is, which is insane when you talk about 14 plus, near 17 point spread. So I
Yeah.
don't think that you can take it lightly or sleep on them. I think that it'll be, as we'll get into it, but you can't see that number and feel 100% confident all the time because it does inspire the underdog in a way that the favorite doesn't like to see.
The easiest form of bulletin board material.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, no bulletin board material, guys.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's get into some more talk about this game. Brett, what are you most confident about going into this weekend game?
Ooh. Um, Probably the fact that Quinn's, going to be starting again. I know he's listed as probable, but probable is almost a guarantee at this point in time. Uh, I experience always seems to pay off in this game. So having Quinn there for the third time, he's lost one, he's won one. Um, that gives me probably the most confidence, especially when you're conducting an offense that has to go up against what's on paper looks like a pretty darn good defense. I guess we'll find out. But that does inspire a little confidence in me that Quinn's back at the helm.
Yeah, confidence, Justin.
I love having Quinn against a true freshman. I believe this is the first time ever that OU has started a freshman in this game. Um, so to have the experience of not only this game, but just all the games and all the big games that Quinn has had under his belt after the way that we lost last year, I think it's a massive advantage to Texas in regards to handling the big waves and the big swings of emotions. Because as a freshman, if you start tailing, maybe we saw with Spencer Rattler, right? He wasn't a freshman, but it was his first start. He tailed out and we were up 28-7. We won't talk about how the game ended, but you can see it when you don't have the experience, both in just big games, but also in this game in particular. Man, if you can't handle those emotions or have somebody to lean on to help you out with that, it can be a massive, massive turn of events for, again, the team with more experience at the quarterback. And not just quarterback, by the way, I meant to mention earlier, the amount of OU receivers that are hurt is insane. I think 4 or 5 of them are at least questionable, if not out completely. So it'll be good to see Quinn in there, hopefully fully healthy, up against hopefully just a rattled freshman quarterback. What I'm most confident in is the secondary. They are one of the top 2 or 3 in the nation. If you look at all the impactful stats, I think that they can make a freshman look like a freshman. Hopefully PK is in his bag and able to pull up, dynamic blitzes and all that. And I mean, I think we can leave him on one-on-one coverage on the outside, play single high, whatever, and just stop that run game because that secondary is elite, elite. They're starting to try and bring back that DBU like we've talked
Yeah.
about earlier in the season. So I love watching the way they communicate and they play. Been listening to the players and how they are like just so much more comfortable. They've all been athletic for all the years that Sark has been there and PK has been there, but their communication is on another level, and I think it's starting to really show itself this season.
Yeah,
Well,
you can see it pre-snap. Um, Speaking of injuries, real quick, at least my list: Gibson, Farouk, Anderson, Anthony, possibly Burks for OU. Um, all expected to be out or questionable. Burks is the only one that's still questionable there. And then Tatum, true freshman running back for OU, didn't play last week. He might not play this week. So OU's always has a good stable of running backs. So anything to hurt that depth is probably good for our team.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, what are you most confident about? You just gotta let Quinn be Quinn. Going
Gotta
back
let
to
Vince be Vince.
yeah, there you go. Justin gets it. All right.
I got you.
On the flip side now, all right, what are you guys most worried about? We'll flip it up. Justin, go first.
Um, I think I'm worried about the complexity of Venable's defense. Um, he'll pull out every which way. He's probably, making up blitzes all the time, especially just for
blitzing
this
from the
game.
sidelines.
Say that again.
So he's going to be blitzing from the sidelines.
Yeah, right. He's just such a great defensive mind, and it showed last year. I'm pretty sure what Quinn threw a pick on the first or second play of the game because they knew exactly what was coming based on formation and motion, and the guy knew exactly what was coming.
Yep.
So I just I really like my biggest thing is that defense worries me. I don't think Quinn's going to get too rattled one way or the other. Like we were talking about, he's got experience in it in big games and in this game, so he knows exactly how to handle it. But man, if one or two of those go the wrong way, I have a feeling we could lose the turnover battle. We've been getting some turnovers on defense, but OU is like one of the leaders in the country. I think they lead the SEC. I think they're second in the country or third in the country and I mean all kinds of defensive stats between like havoc rate and like pressure on the quarterback, turnovers. I mean sacks. They're just an unreal defense. They've made good offenses like Tennessee really struggle. Now Nico, the quarterback for Tennessee, is nearly not nearly as experienced as Quinn, so I think that's important. But that defense is just it's something else. So as good as Texas defense is against a pretty mediocre OU offense, just seeing what kind of dynamic and interesting kind of blitzes and coverages they have for Quinn will be interesting to see, and vice versa to see how Sark can play the chess game in a
Yeah,
game, right? Because he's now got to go. Oh, they're playing three high. Oh, they're playing single high. And he's got to adjust.
yeah, yeah. He takes that personal too because he's 1-1 with Brent now, so
Hmm.
he wants that. He wants to be ahead in the win loss column there. Well, I don't know, Justin. You just scared me a little bit with that. I guess the nice thing to think of the thing we talked about earlier about the confidence in Quinn. That's really important here because yeah, you're right. If Venable comes out firing on all cylinders, he's bringing blitzers in from the secondary. He's dropping safeties into passing lanes and stuff like that. A young quarterback could easily get rattled in this game. I do the one thing I do recall, one of the few things that I recall as a good thing from last year was how Quinn bounced back, especially in that second half after throwing two early picks. He really came back and he played very well, and didn't turn the ball over one more time. Put us in a position to win the game, and unfortunately, our defense coughed it up. So I guess that's the glass half full side of some of those worries. But the thing that I'm most worried about is the thing that we suffered from so much from last year, and I'm not 100% sure that we've cured it because we haven't seen it yet, which is facing a dual threat quarterback and just making sure that our defensive linemen stay in their rush lanes. We have gotten off the ball really well this year, and we've gotten after the quarterback and have way more sacks at this point this year than we did last year. But when you bring a dual threat quarterback in, people get a little bit pass rush happy. You do leave those big gaps, right? And I would be a little bit concerned that our defense, our edges get a little bit past the tackle box or up the field too quickly and leave that gaping hole. And then all of a sudden Hawkins is, getting an easy 10-yard first down when we had him third. So it just brings another element of, a known unknown into the game because we don't know much about this kid. We don't know what his scrambling tendencies are. So I do have concerns about that. And I hope Kyle Flood is just instilling in his guys like, hey, a sack is great. Stay in your fucking rush lane.
Yeah. And I'm sure you mean Baker, right? Not Kyle Flood.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I mean, we talked about the quarterback run game before we played Mississippi State. I said, look, that was the one thing that we really haven't faced, like we talked about. And it's not a huge deal. All he did, he scored one rushing touchdown, right? It's not like he went
Yeah.
off or anything, but it's that same offense. And it is nice that we kind of, I mean, they're similar. They're not exactly the same. It's kind of nice that we get to see them back to back. But again, man, this game, you pull out everything in the kitchen sink, right?
Well,
I
think
know
about
we've
that
got,
too. Think about that one touchdown that guy scored from Mississippi State.
yeah.
That was an example of us getting out of our rush lanes.
Yep, because he flew by him.
Anthony Hill went too high,
Yep,
and then
flew
all of a
right by
sudden,
him.
yep, see ya,
Yep,
touchdown.
yep. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely worried about the OU quarterback run game, much like what happened last year. Again, we've talked about it, but Dylan Gabriel came out of nowhere, played literally the game of his life, but I think he put up 100 something yards rushing, and you just never saw it
Yeah.
happening. But as it happened, we're sitting over there in the stands, like, how are you not doing anything about this? And the adjustment was just poor. So hopefully they've learned. But when you go into this game, it's not about what you have seen on tape. It's about what you haven't seen on tape,
The
right?
known unknowns.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, it's worrisome, but it'll be good. And I want to add, sorry, real quick, Ben, in regards to what I was worried about, those linebackers for OU are all American. They're awesome. Stutzman and I don't remember the other kid's name right now off the top of my head, but they are unreal. I think they're a picked SEC first team or at least SEC second team. So I mean, get ready for those guys. They play ready to rip someone's head off and take the ball from you every single down.
Yeah, I was just looking up how tall Michael Hawkins Jr. is because something about that 6 foot and under quarterback that just we can't see
Yeah,
them when they run all over us.
the little
He's
baby feet.
Yeah, Hawkins is 6'1", so maybe that we see him a little better.
They
But
really
yeah,
do like him. I mean, he
I
got a
mean,
lot of buzz in the spring
yeah,
over Jackson Arnold. I know a lot of people are wondering if there's a quarterback controversy. I don't think there is. I think that they're like, look, Jackson, you're not doing enough for what we need. Because it's kind of like how Casey Thompson, who I know we're going to talk about a little bit, and Hudson Card had a couple years ago, right? Hudson Card is really good on schedule, but Casey Thompson could go off script and make things happen. So at the end of the day, because we had a bad offensive line, we didn't really have a run game. You had to put in somebody who could play off script, much like what I think Hawkins is just better at than Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold's not a bad quarterback, but he needs support around him. He's not a, a water or a boat. He doesn't help raise everybody around him. He needs other people to be great so that he can also be good, right? Or he needs them to at least be good so he can be great. Hawkins is just a wild card. I mean, we don't have enough tape
We
or
don't know.
experience watching him yet, so we'll see. But they've liked him for a long time, and it's not surprising to see him in this game.
So the
yeah.
question though, you fans out there, is Jackson Arnold still better quarterback grab in that recruiting class than Arch Manning?
Interesting.
For you to
Interesting. That's a
answer.
great question. I've got a question for you guys. What time is it where y'all are?
It's 9:08 Central Standard Time.
Oh, oh,
OU
you still
splits up.
sucks.
Saw that one coming.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
no.
All right, yeah, echoes to the QB scrambling, extending plays, and turnovers. I think those are the difference makers in my opinion. You guys talked about it. Um, Obviously, we're expecting Hawkins over Jackson Arnold. Um, so yeah, it should always interesting going in, like you said, with a freshman quarterback going into this game, that environment. It's pretty cool the first time you see that divide between the orange and the um
Crimson
what
and
is it?
cream.
Crimson. There it is.
We can just
Um,
call it red, guys. We don't have to get all
Red.
fancy.
Yeah, there we go. Um, yeah, and like I said, 6 year Casey Thompson. We'll get into that later. So, uh, bold take and prediction time. We'll go to you, Brett, for bold take for this game.
Okay, I mentioned it a few weeks ago. Our boy Juan Davis still doesn't have a career touchdown, right? And I think I mentioned that I thought that maybe Sark is kind of saving him for the OU game. Feels like we always carry our little wild card that we throw out there for the OU game somewhere on offense. I think this is when Gunnar Helm made his big debut last year, right? Didn't he have a couple of big catches,
He
one for a
did. He
touchdown?
almost had a fumble too, but he did play very well. Yeah.
He did. So I'm saying that Juan Davis is going to get that touchdown this year when all the defensive backs are focused on all of our other weapons, slip him out of that H-back role that he plays so well, and give him that touchdown to reward all that hard work he's put in.
That's awesome. I hope that happens for him. He's definitely given a lot to the school.
Yeah.
All right, bold take, Justin.
I got a handful, or a couple at least.
Here we go.
I think Texas loses the turnover battle, kind of like what I talked about earlier. Our defense is great. Don't get me wrong. We're not creating the most amount of turnovers, right? But OU is, and even if we lose 2-1, whatever, I think that we lose the turnover battle, but that we win by more than 10 points or 10 points or more. So a little boldish. Usually, if you lose a turnover battle, you're not going to win, much less you're going to win by 10 plus points, right? So I think that's going to happen. We might lose 1-0, right? Who knows? But I just think we lose the turnover battle, but still win by a couple of scores. I think we see one of those awesome special team returns. Punt, maybe kickoff, more than likely a punt. Where I mean, you kind of saw Silas Bolden kind of get a little wiggle against Mississippi State, right? He's had some chances, but there's never been anything set up for him this year. So I think they're finally gonna get one going. And not just a return.
Pause there for a second, because special teams is somewhere that we have excelled, especially last year. But we just haven't seen a ton of excitement on yet this year, right?
Has been very bland, and I think it's
Yeah,
all by design. I think they're
I
saving for the
agree.
next
I
2 weeks.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, I'm going to echo that. Like, I think there could be some fireworks there.
Yeah, because we
Punt
called that
blocks,
block
punt
punt.
returns. Yeah.
We called that block punt last year at the game, right? We
Yeah.
said go
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
it, and they blocked it, scored the touchdown. Yeah,
That was awesome.
that was great.
That was awesome.
Um, and then my last one, Trey Wisner. He's out of is it Denton
Soto.
Guyer? Where? Oh no,
Soto.
yeah, he's out of DeSoto, right? I
Yep.
think he leads the team in rushing. I hope Jaden Blue comes back with his hair on fire, ready to go, not losing the ball. I'm not going to bet on it personally. He's got 5 fumbles and like 200 carries in his career, which is not a great number at all. I mean, most NFL guys go 200 carries before they fumble once. He's got 5 lost and about 200 carries, so it's not great. Um, I think Wisner, Quintravion, whatever it is, Wisner, I don't know his last name exactly, but Quintravion, I think, leads the team, and I'll say he puts up pretty close to 100 yards. I know that's a big ask considering how good I just told y'all that defense is, but I'm hoping that Quinn is able to bust some make those linebackers kind of respect maybe a little bit deep or mid-range
Mhm.
ball a little bit, and we can get some of the RPO going, and hopefully Wisner can really hit it on the second half where we're just playing out the clock, and that's where he starts putting up 6-7 yards a run. So those are my three. Texas loses the turnover battle, wins by 10. Special teams return, maybe not for a touchdown, but like we get some real good return game going. And then Wisner with 100 yards rushing.
Good stuff. All right. In Michael Scott fashion, my bold take is also my prediction. Um, I'm after last weekend. I know that was a huge spread, but I'm not picking Texas to cover this weekend. It's rivalry game. You know, these players, a lot of them played each other in high school. They're playing each other again. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great game. No matter how down you get, you know, you can always come back, as we've seen, unfortunately, and fortunately. So my prediction, Texas wins 27-23. It's right on that 50 and a half, just under. So like these guys in Vegas, they know what they're doing making these spreads. So I got the under and I got OU covering. Brett.
You guys are giving me the heebie-jeebies. These predictions, I don't like it. Uh,
I love yours. I hope it comes true.
I hope mine comes through. I have us winning 35-15. Um, how OU gets to 15, I'm not really sure. You know, we'll see. They'll probably go for a 2 point conversion or something like that. But I'm going to give them some more points than I probably should with that offense because, like you said, in this game, the unpredictability of special teams, defensive turnovers, and stuff like that, that can put points on the board. So I'm gonna give them 15, us 35. So right at the over under with Texas easily covering the spread.
Very nice. Like I said, I hope that comes true. My biggest worry again is not biggest worry, but in regards to the spread is I don't think Texas will have a massive time of possession, much like we did against Mississippi State.
Yeah,
I think that they showed this is how you play and this is how you slow down a Sark offense this year. You can run a little bit against Texas. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to run crazy, go for 200, 250 yards or anything, but you can. I mean, what that Mississippi State first drive was 7.5 minutes, and they kicked a field goal, right?
yep,
Like they can. No, I don't even know if they kicked a field goal. I forget. I think we stopped them on fourth down, right? But they only went half the length of the field, and it took 7.5 minutes. I think that's the blueprint to slow down, to tire out our defense, and to slow down our offense. So
mhm,
I don't think we get as high of a scoring game. I don't think Texas covers 14 and a half is a lot. I'm going to be right at the number. Don't get me wrong. I've got Texas winning 27-13. I just think that we're going to get stopped a handful of times again, potentially lose the turnover battle. That defense is solid, but our defense, I think, can handle their offense. I mean, hell, we're giving up what
Yeah.
7.5 points a game, so I think we're good there. I'm giving them 13. Again, rivalry game. Maybe they bust off a flea flicker trick play or something like that. But I think
yep.
we cover. I just don't think we have enough time to put up that many points, unfortunately.
Yeah. We haven't given up over 13 points. OU, I think was it 27 or 21? I forget how
Yeah.
what the last game was, but I think both these defenses are maybe at the top of the SEC after seeing, Georgia, Alabama, those are scoring fests. Alabama can't stop anybody, but I mean, we thought Tennessee going into play OU was number one offense in the country, and they
Mhm.
only put up 25 points. And, I think they were moving the ball. OU was kind of, bend but don't break. They're letting them get field goals.
Yep.
Ultimately it was too much. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, it's, maybe 40 point spread on this game. Total points, we're all kind of right at that 50 mark. I wouldn't be surprised if it's much less. I think these are two of the top defenses from what we've seen so far. They're two of the top defenses in the nation and in the conference. So we'll see. This game is always, makes people look silly at times. So we'll see if that holds true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to predict this game is gonna be
Yeah.
good luck.
All right. Let's go favorite moments of this rivalry. Um, we can do favorite play, favorite game, player you
Right, you want to
hate.
start?
Oh, it's story time, baby.
Yeah, story time.
Yeah. Golly. So, yeah, the way I broke it down is favorite play, favorite game, your most favorite player in the rivalry, and the most hated player in the rivalry, and then what's like your favorite fan memory. So, I was jotting some stuff down because I was trying to think about this and make it a little bit fun for this game because I have so many solid memories from it. But the plays that stick out to me is like favorite single play that happened on the field, when Quan Cosby blocked for Jordan Shipley going into the end zone.
Yeah.
That was that was the '08 game,
That
right?
was so good. Yeah,
45-35 game.
that was 08.
And he just absolutely killed, was it Lenny Holmes or something like that? I mean, obviously, like the crackback block is dead in college football now, so it would have been a significant penalty and targeting penalty, and we wouldn't have seen Quan play the rest of the game. But I watched that, I watched that earlier this week, and you can hear Kirk Herbstreit just like unbelievable block by Quan Crosby. Such a momentum shifting type of plays,
Yeah.
and that those hits, like you were saying earlier, Justin, were like quintessential Red River rivalry things.
Oh, it makes you get chills. It's so
Oh
much fun.
yeah,
Like you love it.
the Bijan run from when he stiff armed Billy Bowman almost out of existence. That was awesome.
That's
Uh,
the other linebacker, Billy Bowman. Thank you. Great
yeah,
call.
he's a safety, but
Yeah.
yeah, Billy Bowman, he was a Texas commit for a long time. He's also
Yeah.
from Big Ryan. He was with JT Sanders.
Yeah.
But so those are probably my favorite plays. My favorite game was probably the Dicker the Kicker game. When
Earthquake. There's your
when
Gus Johnson call
when
right
my
there,
boy
Ben.
Gus Johnson was still on the mic. If you recall that game, that was when Kyler Murray brought OU back all the way back. I think it was tied 45-45 when Dicker the Kicker kicked that field goal. That was such an exciting game to watch. Also one where you're just trying to throw stuff at the screen. Uh, my favorite and most hated
Real
players.
quick. That's
Yeah.
when I bought this football. I thought Tom Herman was going to be the savior of Texas football. Yeah, Tom Herman signed football the day that we beat OU on the Dick of the Kicker game.
Uh, okay,
That-
I'm gonna pause.
well,
I'm gonna pause on that one right there. So I've gone through. Hold on, I've gone through my favorite play and my favorite game. I want you all to give y'all's thoughts on that, and then we'll continue through this list.
All right. I'll go real quick, Justin. Favorite play is Jordan Shipley's 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown,
yeah,
2009.
yeah.
I think it was 2009. I wrote down 2008.
It was
Um,
08. It was 08.
was it 08? Okay, because I had it wrong and I corrected it in my notes. But yeah, I think we were down 14-3, and like it was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those games. And then Shipley, I don't know if you guys know, but he and Colt roomed together, and then their younger brothers also roomed together. Um, so that to me, I mean, those 2 years were, I mean, I don't know. if you look at the history, there's not a lot of back-to-back wins on the Texas side lately.
That's true.
So uh,
Yeah,
2008,
they were down 10 in that game and then won by
yeah,
10, which was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. 2008, 2009 were probably my favorite games because that was like, we were in college
Mhm.
at that point, and so being students while the team was,
Do
being
y'all remember the
successful.
tickets? The tickets they used to print out for that?
Oh, yeah, I
They
think I
were
still
like
have some.
unique. Yeah, I
I
still
still
got
have
them
some.
all. They're like
Yeah,
holographic, some of them. They
yeah,
were
those they
way
were
cool.
sweet.
Now, obviously, it's all electronic, but man, those were cool.
All right, Justin, go ahead on your what you want
My
to talk
favorite
about. We'll
play, yeah,
come
my
back.
favorite play was the was it Derek Williams on the reach around punch fumble on Jason White, I believe that was what it was.
Oh my God, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, but I mean, it's still on highlights all the time whenever you watch, highlights about this game. That was just such a crazy, like everybody was like, how did he even do that? Right? Now we lost the game, which obviously, right? But man, just a phenomenal play. I think the final of that game was like 12-0 or something. It was just a defensive battle. Still one of just a core memory just watching that. My favorite game was the Case McCoy game. Literally, it'll be 11 years ago to Saturday.
Charlie, was that Charlie Strong?
Would have been 11 years ago, so it'd been 2013. That would have been
Max
Max
last
last
year?
year, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Max last year, second to last year, I forget.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, we were just not expected to even be in the game. We were, I guess,
yeah,
3-2 going into it, and they were number 12. And you could just see it kind of slowly happening, slowly happening. We were up 26-10 at halftime. And it was just, I was there. I only stayed in the parking lot. I actually didn't go to the game. I didn't have a ticket, but we went and tailgated. And it was just so much fun watching those OU fans leave early. I loved it. So that
and
was
then,
just one of the
Didn't Najee Johnson have a big punt return
Dajay
for
did. Yep.
touchdown?
And so did Marcus Johnson had a wheel route touchdown for like 70 yards or something like
Oh
that. It
yeah,
was
I've been there with you in the watching it.
in the parking
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it was just such a fun, like, it was just it was a fun game. We knew, we were like, yeah, we don't really have a chance, but that's exactly what we talked about. Sorry. Where we said, hey, sometimes those big spreads, and I think this is one of those games where the underdog not only covered, but won handily. I mean, we won by 16 points. So we
right.
totally flipped the script on that. And it's just one of those games you're like, okay, like that's what this game is all about. So that was one of my favorite memories for sure.
No. Okay. Next part. Favorite player, obviously on the UT side, and your most hated player from the OU side. So I'll go. I mean, I think my favorite player was probably Bijan because like Bijan, it felt like he just always had a big game. He had that amazing run that we talked about and had a career day against OU. I think that was his sophomore year. And then his junior year, his last year at UT was Quinn's first year starting. And I remember he had a couple of running touchdowns, and then he had that acrobatic like third down conversion catch on the sideline.
Hmm.
I don't know if y'all remember that.
Hmm.
Bijan was always special to watch, and
Absolutely.
he was just anytime he touched the ball, it was special, and I always felt like we got him the ball in space in this game. Just let him do his thing.
Yep.
But on the flip
100%.
side, I also have to have a hated player. The one person I could not stand was Kyler Murray. I
Yeah.
wanted that guy. I don't pull for players to get hurt, but I wanted Kyler Murray to get hurt. I hated it ever
Just a
since like
little
that.
bit, right?
Yeah, maybe just like get diarrhea on the bus ride home.
There
That
you
could help too.
go.
Something like that. But golly, I mean, ever since that feud happened with him and Ellinger after we beat them for the first time in however many
Take
years,
the L.
he wouldn't shake his hand. Yeah, take the L, and some other choice words in there.
Uh-huh.
And just the way that Kryler Murray was born that day,
Yep.
and then he got his vengeance against us in the Big 12 championship. So, yes, he was my most hated player.
Alyssa would hate it if she heard this, but I'm sure she won't listen. She almost got me into a fight at the Big 12 game that year. Me and her and Hunter went, and
Yeah,
she was screaming at the OU people across the aisle from us. Like she made a woman sit down because she was so like Like, shut. It was amazing. I was like, do your thing, babe. I'm watching the game. And Hunter was like, hey, we need to do something. I was like, no, not gonna get in the way of that. Um, favorite player? I know I'm going back here, but he went 4-0. Peter Gardier. Enough said.
Okay.
Amazing, right? Probably won't ever happen again. I don't know if we'll have many freshmen start on our side and also win 4 games in a row. So until Peter the King has been matched or beaten, I mean, give it up for him. Um, I'll also take as my most hated. I was going to say Adrian Peterson just because I'm mad he didn't come to Texas. But after you said Kyler Murray, it definitely got me thinking, dude, Baker Mayfield. I hate that guy. Like, I don't hate him. I hate him as a player, right? I respect what he can do, and he's balling out now in the NFL. Good for him. But his moxie and everything, the way he played, and the way he celebrated when he won, I hated watching it. And I especially hated it because he was on the other team. When that guy's on your team, you feel different, right? But when he's against you, you just hate it, especially when they beat you. And I think he went 2-1 against this. He was great.
Yeah. Another Boston native that got away
Yep.
and held a grudge against us. Okay, I mean the when I think of this game, the play that comes into my mind is Roy Williams jumping and tackling Chris Sims.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so that play, so I got two. I got Roy Williams, and then on the same team, Teddy Lehman. That guy, that linebacker, number 11, he annoyed me. And those are some tough years. My favorite player, though, on the Texas side, it's got to be Major Applewhite. I feel like,
yeah.
his career was coming in and saving the day after, Chris Sims,
Yeah.
because his daddy played in the NFL.
The whole
He,
back and forth between them. Yeah.
yeah. So, Applewhite's the man. Um, He had back-to-back wins, 98, 99.
Yep.
But yeah, hey, shout out to Pete Gardier. I'm friends with that family. And so
Hey, that's cool.
so Pete's the reason that Casey Thompson went to Texas.
Oh,
And so Pete and Casey's dad are friends. And so, that didn't really work out for Casey. Um, but but yeah. Um, Peter would probably be at the game, by the way. They got tickets all the time. So
nice. That's awesome, dude. We gotta get him on. Friend of the program. Let's go.
yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Casey Thompson, 6 year. I know we. Anything else you guys want? We brought his name back up again. We expect to see him play. Um,
I think you got to get him in for one snap. He would be, I believe, the only quarterback to play on both sides of the game. If they don't get him in, that's a damn shame. I think it's the whole reason he went to OU. Sure, for his dad as well, but because his dad obviously went to OU, right? It wasn't
yeah,
his uncle or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to get him in the game just for the historical marker, even if it's a kneel down at halftime, whatever. Like get him in the game. So because he put
Totally agree.
up,
It'd be fun to
it,
see him. It'd be fun to get a sack against him.
it'd be really fun to get a sack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope he
And I would
doesn't
cheer for
do like what he did against OU. I think he put up 6 touchdowns against OU that year. I know he still lost, but he had a really good game
him.
against OU.
That was Xavier Worthy's breakout game. I think the first pass was a screen pass to X, and X took it for 75 to the house.
Yep. That was such a yeah. That's when I thought we were
That's the game that we were up 28-7.
28-7. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
And
F you, Caleb
that's
Williams.
when the game ended that way, and I went home, and it was fun.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
guys. Well, good stuff as always. We are again unfiltered, a little biased, 100% truthful. 41st acre. Looking forward to the game this weekend. See you guys there.
OU
Okay.
sucks.